We're concerned about reliability as rural electric co-ops. It's a huge priority for us that when you reach for the lights, they come on every single time. And another key concept to understand about the industry is one of the things that makes this hard and complex is when you turn on the lights, we have to adjust generation then. Electricity moves at the speed of light. It's known as the most complex machine known to man, the North American electric grid. And when you make a change in load, when you turn on your heat, turn on your lights, the generation has to change at that time because we don't store generation on the electric grid. And so we have to have resources available to adjust real time all the time. We don't store it like you would in a water system, perhaps. It's a very fast-moving, complex system. Now, energy storage is a new thing we need to do more innovation on. So I say we don't store energy. Of course, that's not true. We do have batteries out there now, and that's a big thing in the industry. The problem is that for short-term battery storage, there's quite a bit of that going on in the industry, but it's still very expensive. So when it comes to affordability, we have to figure out how to make it more affordable. And for long-term energy storage, if the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine and it's very cold for days at a time, you essentially don't have that available. Great River Energy is a very innovative company in that area. They're working on a small pilot for a long-term energy storage. That's something we need to continue to innovate in because right now it's not available to really be able to fix this gap. So we need to be careful about shutting down gas and coal before we have adequate other resources available. Shutting them down prematurely is a risk to reliability, and we're concerned about that as rural electric co-ops. We're concerned about that as an industry. There are both economic and policy pressures that are already leading to reliability concerns, and we're concerned about dealing with this transition in a way that makes sure that reliability is retained as we go through this transition. And so this slide just gets a little more color on when I say we're concerned about that. I've been in the industry about 35 years now as a utility guy. But it's not just me that's concerned, okay? These are the people, these are not advocacy groups that I'm talking about here. These are the people that are responsible for keeping the lights on across the electric grid. And they are concerned about lights not being on all the time. So the Mid-Continent, MISO, for example, at the top there, I said you could look real time at what the generation mix is across the grid right now for MISO because they're the ones keeping track of that. They're not advocating for energy policy. What they're doing is trying across a 15-state area roughly to keep the lights on. They have warned recently that in order to get to a low-carbon future, what we need now is more gas, not less, because gas is adjustable and you can call on it when you need it. And in the short run, we need more of that to make sure the electric grid is reliable. NERC, which on a national level sets the standards for reliability, similar warnings. They warned in their in December of 2022 that more resources are needed, and specifically for MISO in this region, we have 1,300 megawatt shortfall in capacity during peak load conditions, and then it's an accelerating trend. Yesterday, NERC came out with their latest assessment, and this problem has percolated even more broadly across the country. So essentially, they're again saying, we're concerned about reliability and over a broad area. Now, they clarify that if the weather's good, we're fine. So usually the weather's good here, so I shouldn't be a problem. FERC, who is another regulator in this area, actually sets the standards with NERC, recently said at a conference, this is the FERC commissioner about reliability, that the U.S. is heading to a very catastrophic situation in terms of reliability. So this is not to say that Tim and I are worried about reliability. This is to say we have a real challenge in the industry here to adopt new policy mandates and keep the lights on all the time. And unfortunately, I'm not here to tell you the job's easy and we have the answer. I'm here to tell you we're going to have to be working hard on this in the next several years to make these priorities come together as well as we can.